Hey everyone, I'm Brittney Michelle. A few months ago in my English composition class, our professor showed us a single image, a gleaming, verdant cityscape where solar arrays crown every rooftop, vines climb glass towers, and children studied beneath living roofs. Our assignment wasn't to paint or sketch but to close our eyes, let our pens wander across paper, and write the future we saw in that still frame. I poured out a condensed version of the scene, my own utopian fable of vertical farms feeding megacities, wind turbines pirouetting above sky gardens, and self-driving transit humming through green corridors, and then tuck it away, half expecting it to vanish into the pile of routine essays. When I got my grade back and saw the A at the top, I couldn't believe it. That simple classroom prompt had cracked open something in me, a story waiting to push beyond polished facades of hope into the gray edges where ambition and control collide. While I was writing about rooftop orchards and algae bioreactors purifying city air, the real world was already changing in ways both exhilarating and unsettling. Last year's wildfires in Maui scorched thousands of acres, Europe broiled under unprecedented heatwaves, floods in Pakistan displaced millions. Headlines touted carbon capture breakthroughs and solar geoengineering trials, but conspiracy forums whispered about ionospheric heaters and satellite arrays with hidden agendas. That tension between promise and peril became my compass. I began asking, what if the very technologies we cheer as salvation can flip into instruments of surveillance or coercion? What if zero-emissions zones carried digital checkpoints, and smart cities harvested biometric data in exchange for clean water and ration power? In this story, set in 2089, I imagine communities fenced by algorithmic borders, drones tracing your every breath, AI adjudicating who earns a seat inside climate-controlled domes. It's a future born from seeds of today's breakthroughs in blockchain-backed identity systems, predictive policing AI, and orbital sensors once pitched as environmental monitors. Every element springs from real science and legitimate concerns, magnified to explore the thin line between salvation and subjugation. And now, after months of collaboration with Mikey, that spark of imagination has evolved into a fully rendered short film. You'll see the green domes of Neo-Arcadia shimmer against radioactive twilight, watch geoengineered lightning storms rip through engineered skies, and follow the journey of citizens who dare to question the architecture of order. Each frame reflects Mikey's mastery of motion and my penchant for world building, fused to create a visceral glimpse of what might come. So tonight, I invite you to step into this world with me. Let the hum of solar collectors and the pulse of neural networks wash over you. See how hope can glitter and how it can fracture. Because our real choices mirror those of my characters, embrace the dream at any cost, or fight to reclaim the messy, unpredictable spark that makes us human. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I can't wait to hear what you think.
She drops one cold like a lightning kiss. Pixel perfect soul in electric bliss. Storyteller queen with emotion sway on 3 cubed with Brittney. Rebels tune in and play.
Utopia by way of cost. By 2089, the government had stopped pretending. HAARP's old ionospheric heaters, once dismissed as conspiracy, became the new national security policy. They called it climate adjustment, urban renewal, new world order. In hushed tones across the ruins, people still whispered the truth: these machines were weapons, not weather stations. When your neighbor's crops withered and your rivers ran warm, no official report explained why. You only knew that policies shifted overnight, and if you asked too many questions, you disappeared. The satellites came next, silent, silver, and precise. They threaded the sky in perfect formation, gleaming like needles against a bruised horizon. Maui was the test run. One dawn, a flicker of blinding light scorched the island's east side. Survivors speak of a hiss, like steam escaping a pressure valve, and then silence. Lahaina rose in smoke, its wooden facades turned to charcoal, its streets cracked. The broadcast alleged a power grid failure. But blue tarp tents sprouted everywhere, holding people who knew it was more than an accident. By the time California's coast ignited, no one bothered lying. The beams drew glowing highways across Los Angeles, carving neighborhoods into bright grid lines visible from space. Tourists recorded it live, homes evaporating in seconds, freeway overpasses melting. Official channels looped old sitcoms while real news anchors sat frozen behind flickering graphics. Those of us paying attention realized, too late, that we were always the targets. The truth unnerved us more than the lasers. This was climate control by design, a mechanism of terror masked as technology. The exodus followed like a grim echo of the Great Migration. It was mandatory. Every citizen received a notification at 2 a.m. Proceed to designated recovery zones. We boarded trucks in the rain, watched our highways cordoned by drones. Blue uniforms organized the flow with robotic detachment, scanning faces and scanning IDs. No questions asked. Our destination, the Venus Project's 15-minute cities. Geodesic domes promised self-sufficiency, clean energy, curated air. They gleamed like polished shells against the ashen backdrop. Utopia, they said. But inside, we were prisoners of convenience. Within the domes, sunlight filtered through grids that regulated temperature and humidity. Gardens floated in hydroponic pods, and walls bloomed with genetically tailored flowers that never wilted. Algorithms allocated your food, your water, even your exercise. A soft voice announced, "You have achieved 5,000 steps today, good work," while drones delivered your rations. Your blockchain ID, encoded on a microchip in your wrist, recorded every heartbeat, every calorie, every breath. Privacy became a relic. Freedom became a series of permissions. Dissent was impossible. The system anticipated rebellion before neurons fired. Machine learning models, fed with centuries of unrest patterns, pinpointed potential troublemakers. By the time you felt the spark of defiance, a gentle knock would arrive, a caseworker offering a wellness recalibration. They slipped a microdose of neuromodulator into your water. You'd wake the next morning docile, grateful for the peace you never knew you'd lost. The last unregistered humans were found in Denver, huddled in the Rockies, blind to the satellite network. They screamed at the sky, chanting for the lasers to halt. The authorities, no uniforms, just drones with silent wings, descended. We watched the live feed as their bodies vaporized under the sweeping beam, a pink flash, then nothing. Survivors were advised to look away. The network blared a public service announcement, "Keep faith in our shared future." At night, the sky hums. Not with stars, but with charging cycles. The satellites remain, forming a silent scaffold over the globe, waiting, watching, ready. Children born in the domes have never seen an unguided cloud. To them, weather is a playlist of pre-approved conditions: sunny morning, light rain, twilight glow. Imagination, that ancient spark of creativity, is considered a cognitive hazard. They learn to dream in parameters. Some nights, I sleep out to the peripheral sectors, where the domes end in barbed wire. There, black market traders, ex-engineers, and ex-soldiers sell salvaged books and forbidden seeds. We swap stories of old Earth, thunderstorms that rage without permission, wild forests that decided their own fate, rivers that carved canyons over millennia. We plant those rebel seeds in hidden gardens, praying for green to outlast the steel. Inside, watchers monitor every network stream. If your pattern deviates, if your heart rate spikes at a subversive word, you receive a reminder of wellness notification. Comply or pay the price. Compliance is your new currency. The government says we're rebuilding. The government says a lot of things. Our leaders speak in soothing tones about progress, about the inevitability of sacrifice. They claim our ancestors cried out for security, for order, for stability. They whisper that we are the architects of a perfect world, efficient, safe, just. Yet when the satellites pulse overhead, I hear only a dirge, a lament for lost humanity. In my nightmares, the drones rise like locusts, and the domes crack open like eggshells, spilling a coral-colored glow onto smoldering ruins. Still, hope persists. A ragtag network of rebels, coders, botanists, poets works in secret. We hack the ID chips, rewriting permissions to free whole families. We build analog radios to broadcast off-grid sermons about the beauty of imperfect rain. We dream of tearing down the algorithmic altar and seeing real stars again. Each victory is small, a garden that refuses to die, a child who learns to whistle without prompting, a speaker that plays a forbidden ballad. They call our uprising the cost. But Utopia always carries a price. The question is whether we'll pay it with our souls or with our silence. When the grid finally fails, and it will, we'll be ready. We'll stand with our hands unloved, our voices unscripted, whispering the one word they can never code. Amen.
Under silence satellites we bow. Every breath measured by unblinding eyes. In the hum of machines we cast our hopes. This is the price of a perfect dream.
I stand before you as observer and participant in our dream of Utopia, and the memory of its collapse is a beacon. We applauded policies that promise gains, unchecked resource extraction, short-term profits, walls to keep others out, never seeing how they eroded the foundations of community, environment, and hope. We cheered leaders who sowed division, fueling greed and fear to the ripple effects that hardened into barriers between us and the world we cherish. Now we see that every vote cast in haste, every law passed in isolation, becomes a thread in the tapestry of tomorrow. If our choices today are seeds of our future harvest, then let us plant wisely. Let empathy guide legislation, not bias. Long-term stewardship outweigh fleeting convenience. Demand transparent governance rooted in science and compassion. Insist on policies that uplift the vulnerable, preserve wonders, and invest in education for thinking. This is not idealistic rhetoric, it is the blueprint for a society that can withstand storms of change. You hold the power of tomorrow in your ballot, in your voice, in your acts. Let this story of Utopia's promise and peril be a mirror. Reflect, decide, and build a future that generations will celebrate rather than mourn. Thank you so very much for hanging with me this far into the video while I shared this story with you all. My name is Brittney Michelle. I hope you enjoyed your experience and gained some 3 cubes of your own. That's depth, dimension, and disruption. Your viewing means the world to me and my producer, Mikey. This all helps make our channel grow into fruition. Each week, we will post a new video covering topics from aliens to the zeitgeist. We got you covered from A to Z here in AZ. These are all the things that make us who we are here at 3 Cubed with Brittney. So if there is any topic or video you would like to see covered, be sure to let us know in the comments below. If you would like to contribute donations to the production costs of the show, you're more than welcome and invited to donate to the Cash App tag in the description of the channel's page. That tag is $3CubeBrittney. Any donation amount is appreciated and your name will be credited as a generous supporting contributor who makes this all possible. Your donations mean the world to us, and it allows us to keep bringing you the visions from our own creative mind. Thank you again, Game Insight. Be safe out there. Think for yourself, question authority, and find meaning in your purpose. Until then, see you next time.